Hello world, I'm Jamie. I've been a nurse since 2016 and I work with immunocompromised and medically fragile children as a pediatric home health nurse. Today I want to talk to you about how to take care of yourself and how to stay healthy and teach you some tips that I learned from taking care of some really sick kids as well as from taking care of myself. So first let's talk about our immune system and how awesome it is and how well it works for us. And then let's talk about some common sense solutions for staying healthy, solutions that do not include social distancing, disinfecting our entire home, and getting outraged on Twitter and Facebook. First, let's talk about our immune system. We have millions of cells that act like tiny little soldiers inside and outside of our body, watching and waiting for any sign of an invader. Each has a specific job and is highly organized. And unlike the military, we have the ability to reproduce more soldiers if we need them. We have a lot of different types of cells within our immune system that have specific jobs and big names, but for simplicity and hopefully to help you get a visual, for the sake of this video, I'm going to refer to those cells as soldiers. We have something called our innate immunity, which is what we get straight out of the womb. Everybody is born with. And this is our first responders, and this is what alerts the rest of the soldiers that there's trouble. Our body's quickest defense is to get whatever pathogen is bothering it out as quickly as possible. It does this in multiple ways by coughing, a runny nose, sneezing, vomiting, diarrhea, and sweating. Typically, when we're sweating, we have a fever. For every 1 degree increase in body temperature, our immune response doubles. Did you know that bacteria and viruses die at a higher temperature? A fever is our proof that our immune system is working correctly and responding appropriately. If you are concerned about a fever, there are a couple of things that you can do. First, try taking clothes off, socks off, hats off, and then you are going to want to put ice packs in the underarms, the groin, the bottoms of the feet, behind the neck, or on top of the head. Make sure you're protecting the skin before you do that. Don't just put an ice pack directly on the skin. Or also try a cool bath. Do these things before you give something to suppress your immune response, to suppress your fever. The second part of our immune system is our adaptive immunity. This is when our soldiers make a memory of the pathogen that caused us harm or damage, and then it destroys that pathogen and it eliminates it. Each soldier has a specific function and a specific duty. The soldiers in our immune system communicate with one another and are highly organized and efficient. For example, we have something called our lymphatic system, which runs parallel to our circulatory system. This system has lymph nodes throughout our body that connect one another and filter out the harmful things in our system. Our lymph system is full of tiny little soldiers that are constantly patrolling for trouble and eliminating it as it finds it. Now that we know how incredible our immune systems are, let's talk about what things make them less efficient and less effective. What things will prevent your soldiers from showing up to work and doing their job well? There are 3 different things that will affect our immune response, and they can all be summed up under stressors. We have chemical, physical, and emotional stressors. Chemical stressors are things like a poor diet, medications, disinfectants, cleaning products, drugs, and alcohol. The phrase, "you are what you eat," is true. Your food is like your body's supplies. What materials you give it are what materials it uses. If you don't give it what it needs, our body is very adaptive and it will use something else in place of what it actually needs. But this only works for so long. A spare tire is good for a few miles, but you don't want to ride on it forever. Eventually, it will cause problems, and this is the same concept here. Other chemical stressors are medications, and specifically chemotherapy and antibiotics, which directly damage the soldiers that are working to protect you. Unlike medications and disinfectants, our soldiers can differentiate between good and bad. Physical stressors are things like childbirth, car accidents, a lack of exercise or movement, obesity, and a lack of sleep. Emotional stressors are things like abuse, bullying, and a toxic work environment. Emotional stress relates to how we perceive our environments. Now that we know how capable our bodies are of protecting us and what things suppress or hinder those processes, now let's talk about what we can actually do if we do get sick or if we are trying to stay healthy. Here are my top 8 tips for getting and staying healthy. These are tips that I learned from my patients and their families, as well as things that I've learned from my own experiences. Number 1 is movement. Movement is critical for health, for maintaining health. Our lymph system runs parallel to our circulatory system. The difference is that our circulatory system has a pump, which is our heart, and our heart moves our blood where it needs to go. In order for our lymph to get where it needs to go, it requires movement. It requires movement to get rid of all the harmful pathogens that it has collected. Along with movement comes sweat, and sweat is a great way for your body to get rid of anything harmful that it's holding on to. Sweat with movement is the best, but even if you can just get into a sauna, that's going to help. If you are too sick to get off the couch, then coughing and deep breathing are going to work well. Your whole point of your immune system is to cough up and get out whatever is harming you. So coughing and deep breathing is a great way to prevent that fluid from sitting in your lungs and causing more damage. Part of our immune response to inflammation and irritation is to send fluid to that area. The fluid has soldiers to clean up the area, to remove damaged tissues, to repair tissues, as well as for added protection. This is no different for our lungs. We naturally have fluid in our lungs, and when an irritant such as COVID-19 enters the lungs and causes irritation, it sends more fluid to that area to repair and to heal it. Coughing and moving in general are going to prevent that fluid from sitting and essentially marinating, because that is what will happen, and that is how you get on a ventilator in ICU. So if you don't want to be sick, you need to make sure you're moving. Number 2 is hydration, drinking water. Our body is full of fluid, and as we just learned, it uses that fluid to remove harmful wastes, toxins, and pathogens from our system. So we need to make sure we are replacing those fluids. We should be drinking half of our body weight in ounces of water a day. Number 3 is sunshine and fresh air. Both have been proven to be disinfectants and were the primary treatment for the Spanish flu in some hospitals, and they're free. Number 4, avoid disinfectants. Hand sanitizer was intended to be used for when soap was unavailable, and we've sort of been taking advantage of it ever since. Disinfectants have been linked to cancer and hormone disruption, not to mention that they destroy the healthy soldiers on your hands that are actively fighting off dangerous bacteria and pathogens before they ever reach you, before they can ever cause you harm. It's like taking a machine gun to your ecosystem. Not all bacteria are bad, and many bacteria actually help fight off the bad bacteria. So disinfectants and hand sanitizers can cause resistance and superbugs and should be avoided whenever possible. I truly believe that a big part of my health and the reason that I'm able to maintain health is that I assume that anything I am not directly responsible for cleaning could be contaminated with something, any number of things that could cause me, my patients, or my family harm. Did you know that they checked the kiosks at 8 different McDonald's in the UK and they all tested positive for fecal matter? Now, whoever is going to McDonald's is probably also going to Target and the post office and the mall and the doctor's office and school. You get the point. Did you know that there are 320,000 types of viruses that affect mammals alone? Viruses are thought to be 461 times more abundant than bacteria. Rather than being afraid of this one virus or any viruses, let's try to understand that anything that another person has touched can potentially be harmful to us if it were to get into our system, whether it was through our eyes, our nose, our mouth, our vagina, our urethra, or our rectum. This does not mean go douse yourself in disinfectants and hand sanitizers. This means be more mindful of your hands, wash them more frequently. Remember that friction is what kills the germs. Try to keep alcohol pads on you to be able to wipe your phone down. And avoid touching things like doorknobs whenever you can. Look into essential oils for cleaning and check out Melissa Maker at Clean My Space on YouTube for great ideas on cleaning and disinfecting without all the harsh chemicals. Number 5 is vitamins, and particularly vitamin C, which is a total rock star. I'm going to do a video just on vitamin C because it has so many benefits that this video would be an hour long if I talked about them. But just know that vitamin C is an excellent antiviral and it is used in tons of different processes throughout the body, and especially when we're sick. Our body actually dips into our vitamin C storage to help fight off infections. Other vitamins you may want to include are vitamin D and magnesium, but there are others that would benefit your immune system. Definitely do your own research. There is a ton of information out there, so make sure that you're getting a quality product. Number 6 is a hot shower or a hot bath or drinking hot water. Now, a little bonus tip here is that I never admit to being sick. If I feel like I'm getting more tired than normal, more achy than normal, if I'm starting to get a sore throat, I will say, I feel like I'm fighting something off. Now, what do I do in those situations? What do I do? What's the first thing that I do when I'm getting sick? I get in a hot shower. Remember, viruses and bacteria die at a higher temperature, so hot water is going to be your friend here. This is going to open up your pores and allow you to detox some of that junk that is weighing you down and junking up your system. And it frees up your soldiers to do more important things like figure out and fight off whatever funk is causing you to feel funky. Another great idea would be an Epsom salt bath. Make sure that you just rinse off before you soak. But it's the same concept. It's just going to draw out toxins and get rid of anything that your body is trying to eliminate. Even drinking hot water or hot tea is going to be great, especially when talking about a virus that is affecting our respiratory tract. The heat in our throat is going to work to make the bacteria or virus less effective, as well as wash it down into our stomach so we can eliminate it. Number 7 is going to be avoiding alcohol, sugar, and not eating unless we're hungry. Alcohol registers as a toxin in our body, and everything stops until it's removed. That's what causes you to urinate so much when you drink. Sugar is cause for 90% of all inflammation in our bodies, and this includes carbohydrates because carbohydrates break down into sugars. One of the biggest concerns with sugar is that vitamin C is also a sugar, and it is taken up on the same receptor as regular sugar. So when you have a high level of sugar in your body will not always choose vitamin C. Sometimes it will choose the other type of sugar. So the less sugar you have, the more effective your vitamin C will be. Only eating when you are hungry is important because our bodies are very intuitive. We have two modes: fight, flight, or freeze, and rest and digest. It should really be called rest or digest because our body can't really do both. If we are constantly eating and bringing in a new shipment of supplies, somebody has to sort those supplies. Somebody has to decide what is needed and what needs to be eliminated. There is an increase in peristalsis, which is how we digest our food, and there is an increase in blood flow to the gut. All of those things require energy. Hormones are released. There are a lot of things happening every time we eat, and they all require energy that could be used for healing. Now, on the other hand, if we are resting, our body is able to repair, replace, and heal itself. It's able to expend that energy elsewhere. I highly recommend looking into fasting and seeing if it's right for you because it has been excellent for helping me to maintain my health and has been the best way that I have found to stay in control of my eating habits and my health. Number 8 is rest. No TV, no phone, no tablet, no computer. Rest. Put your sleep mask on, get in a cool, dark room, turn on your white noise, and rest. Now, along with resting, I feel like I need to add prayer and meditation. Allowing yourself to have gratitude, to let go of anything that is weighing you down emotionally or mentally, and to just be still is important. 1 through 7 were all ways to help you combat physical and chemical stress. This one is for your emotional stress. We have to process our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. 90% of health is mental. If you think you are getting sick, you will get sick. You are more capable and more resilient than you realize, and as long as you have some control over your various chemical, physical, and emotional stressors, your body can and will work more effectively than any drug or doctor ever dreamed of. I hope you found this video to be helpful. I could talk for hours on this topic, and I definitely plan to make more videos. This was my first video, so please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and please share it with your friends because the more we know about our bodies, the more control we have over our health, and the less fear and panic we are subjected to. And yes, fear and panic are emotional stressors. If you learned nothing else from me, please remember that we were intelligently designed. We were made in the image of God, and our soldiers are always fighting to protect us. And if we do our part, our bodies are able to do theirs. Until next time, get active, drink water, stay positive, and do your own research. Your health is your responsibility.